This is part 3 in a 4-part series, so if you haven't already, go back and listen to the other 2. Before you do, follow us on Twitter at @keywordcrypto. Okay, begin the show.
You didn't really want to do a solo episode because crypto's boring right now.
Well, it's just not. I mean, it's not.
No, and
really,
I agree. I agree.
Not holding
and
my interest right now. Yeah,
and I think it's one of the issues with cryptocurrency in general, with the crypto space in general, is that granted, people are right now kind of focusing on infrastructure, but at the same time, no one's really thinking about how to keep people in the space once they do that Google search for Bitcoin. They're like, oh, Google search, searches for Bitcoin are up. And I'm like, great. So what are you going to do with all those searches? All those people, like, how are you going to keep those people engaged? And nobody has an idea. Like, you got like Crypto Bubble doing those fun little things and Crypto Finally doing some fun videos. But at the same time, like, we need ways to not just grab their attention, but to get them to want to stay involved and like participate and help build the space and help grow the space. And I feel like a lot of people are just kind of here for the charts, and not enough people are like, hey, how do we actually build infrastructure to keep people involved in the space and help it grow that way? And that's kind of my concern with the crypto community right now, where people just aren't thinking in those terms. And when somebody does kind of think in those terms, like Crypto Finally, they just kind of get attacked.
Oh yeah, totally.
And so,
or you just get, or you get groups of people that it seems like they want crypto to be an exclusive thing. Oh, that's been our problem with the maximalists. Is it's like, wait, do you want people in crypto or not? I don't know. I think that the people that come into the space because it's an opportunity to make money, like that they might as well be interested in the stock market or something. Maybe that crypto is a little bit easier. It's easier to get your money onto an exchange or something like that. Maybe it seems, I don't know. But anyone who likes Bitcoin for what it could be, what it was originally created for, that takes a certain type of person to see that type of revolution. Yeah. And trying to teach people that revolution is what they need to stick around for, that takes a lot of effort. And there are people that do it. There are people
especially
that
when you don't have a leader.
Yeah, there are people that do it constantly, but at the same time, those are the people that we're often making fun of, because it's like they're kind of like the number go up people, or they're eventually everyone's going to be using Bitcoin, so you're going to want to own some of it now. It's like, you didn't really think about how money works. So that's part of the problem, is we don't have people in the space who want to make intelligence fun. I guess
it's true. You know what? I one of my biggest frustrations is there aren't any really good how-to videos in crypto. Like, this is how you open up a wallet, and like people like just the production value is bad, the scripting is bad. Like, everything about it is somebody who has a computer science engineering degree and never had a date in his life, and he's trying to explain Bitcoin to my mom. And I'm like, okay, bro, like, have somebody else explain it. Hire an actor. Me and I will come on and do the voiceover for you. Anything to make it more interesting and to make it understandable for laymen or for lay people, because I've been in this space for 3.5, 4 years now, and I still don't understand half these people when they talk. And it's just like, okay, I have a pretty basic understanding of the technology. I can't go down the rabbit hole with some of these guys because I don't understand. I'm not an engineer, but like if you can't explain it to me in a pseudo basic way, then you're definitely not going to explain it to somebody who's never heard about Bitcoin before. And we need that person not to be the first video people who don't know about crypto come across, and have them watch that first, because that's just going to scare them away. We need to make it interesting and entertaining and powerful and thought provoking, and make them see what you and I saw of what maybe not necessarily Bitcoin, but cryptocurrency can be in the future. And I think
Yeah.
I think that's important.
I mean, for me, that's money that isn't controlled by a government, and that's, to me, that's like, it's peer-to-peer cash. I think that is such a weird concept for most people, that to say like, well, then somebody's got to control your money. It's like, no, like the people can control the money. That takes some, I don't know, let's take some thinking outside the box, probably. And
I don't know.
It takes
I
a lot of
personally
effort.
don't want that, because I want money controlled by somebody that I vote for.
Yeah.
Right now, Bitcoin is not something that anybody can vote for. Or it's like it's not democratic at all. It's a republic, I guess. You vote for the people who make the decisions, but you don't actually make any decisions yourself.
Well, I should say,
and that scares me.
I don't know if what I want is a money not controlled by a government, but I want to ask that question, and I want to ask it more. Like, I mean, money is something that we all have to use, right? So that means we should all get together and figure out how it's going to work. The problem with the government is that it's, and I don't want to talk too much about politics, but it's really, a lot of people are unsatisfied the way their governments work, and they're rightfully unsatisfied because their governments suck. So why would you want your sucky government controlling your money?
Absolutely, and I think that's what you need: a decentralized international currency, like a
But the thing is
something like NANO.
But the thing is like, I think one way to kind of get governments to start being better governments, I guess, is to take their money away. Take or at least wake them up to the fact that people don't like the way things are working, and that you can do that with riots and fire and looting, or you can do that by people kind of controlling things on their own and see what chaos evolves from that.
Yeah. I mean, it's a possibility, but I would say that Western governments don't need it right now, for the most part. I mean, like, I was reading this article today about Sweden, and about Sweden has some of the highest death rates of Europe in general.
Death rates, like people dying the most
with COVID. Sorry, with COVID-19.
Oh, okay.
Highest death rate percentage, which is like they're like at 7%, and the rest of the country, the rest of Western Europe is like around 2 to 3%, because they're taking a very laissez-faire attitude about the virus, and they're not doing any social distancing. They can't be in groups of 50 or more. But
I heard, what I read was
they can go to the bar. They can go to, they can do whatever, more or less whatever they want.
Yeah, I read that they were telling old people to stay home, and that younger people just try to be safe. That's what I read.
I think they're saying, like, anybody who is susceptible, like more susceptible, but they're still under the understanding that old people are more susceptible, and that's not true. It's just people with underlying whatever
pre-existing
the word is. Pre-existing conditions. Or just like underlying problems with like obesity or diabetes or stuff like that.
So Sweden, so they're not doing well. I remember reading that a couple of weeks ago and thinking it'll be interesting how this plays out. And their death rate is in fact higher.
Yeah, and they're saying, we're trying to get herd immunity, and the thing about herd immunity is that happens when you have a vaccine. You get herd immunity through vaccines. You don't get herd immunity by letting viruses run rampant through your country, because there is no cure. Like you can't get immunity to like a virus. That's why we get the flu every year, because viruses are constantly adapting and changing.
I think you can get herd immunity, but you're still going to overwhelm the hospitals for the people who
No,
need
because
to go to the
they're
hospital.
now saying that you can get it again.
Oh, okay.
There's a pretty good chance you can get it again. Yeah.
And if it mutates, then you can get it again. That's what happens with our flu. Is it
With
just
the flu,
mutates.
yeah.
So, so I guess my question is, and you probably don't know this unless you have the article in front of you, is are people dying in Sweden because more people are getting it, or is it because the hospitals are overwhelmed? Because
not because the hospitals are overwhelmed yet, but a lot of the doctors are getting very nervous that if they let this keep going the way it is, they have either the lowest or the second lowest number of ICU beds per 1,000 people, per 100,000 people. Sweden has like 2 or 3 ICU beds per 100,000 people in the country. I think they have 10 million people in the country.
Yeah,
and so
that sounds like a bad recipe.
That's a bad recipe. Yeah, and so like all the doctors. So this is what the doctors were saying. They said, we live in a country where the people respect the government and listen to it because they vote for people that they trust, and the people in the government know that they can do stuff because they know they have the trust of the people. And the doctor said, if they don't handle this right and a lot of people die, they're no longer going to trust the government, and that could be the end of our way of life in Sweden. Because when your people no longer trust the government, it's very hard to get things done. And America is a perfect example of that.
Yeah, I think that's a very healthy way for everybody to understand their government. But I don't think people understand it that way here.
No, not at all.
I mean, most people think of the government as an authority. I mean, Trump even said it. He was like, "Oh, the president has total power," or whatever he said. The control is total. I mean, it's like people actually think that. People actually think, "Oh, the police have all the power, so fuck the police."
Yeah, I mean, you have people like in Michigan. They tell her to do something because all these people are dying in Michigan, and so she does something, and then they freak out and bring their guns and try to like stick up the government, by having their gun parade like a bunch of fucking little cowards. It's like, what are you doing? She's following the advice of doctors, and then now you want to open up I get frustrated when all these people who claim to be survivalists can't survive in their house for a month when there's a massive pandemic around the world.
It's very frustrating. I'm a survivalist. So I need my freedom. Well, people don't like being told what to do. That's a thing. I know a lot of people it kind of comes down to just what you believe in, unfortunately, not what the truth is. I mean, and I think the problem with that is when you have a highly uneducated population, what they believe is rarely the truth. And we live in a country that's highly uneducated, and so it's very easy to manipulate people into believing something that isn't true. I guess so. Yeah, well, that's a problem. Also, we just have a really big country, and it's not totalitarian. So how the fuck do you do it, really? I mean, China's got a big population too, but they just beat everybody over there pretty much.
And they can't vote. But look at what they're doing over here. They're trying to stop people from voting at every turn. It's crazy. I mean, we're borderline totalitarian when you take away someone's right to vote. It cracks me up that these idiots walk around with guns saying, you're taking away my freedom, but when their party tries to deny Americans the right to vote, they don't give a fuck. They don't care about America. They care about themselves. They're fucking selfish cowards. And that's what I get mad about. They claim around, they strut around like fucking peacocks, waving their fucking big guns because they have small dicks around. They're like, we care about freedom in this country of America, but totally take away everyone else's right to vote as long as you don't take away mine. It's just like, it's a selfish fucking shitty country we live. It's so frustrating to live here right now.
You hear that, guys? Michael says you have small penises. I guess we can
I'm
move
talking
on
with
now.
somebody on Reddit, and they're like, "Well, those other countries where they stand up to the government, they don't have the right to carry a gun." And I'm just like, "Yeah, they don't need it, and they still stand up to the government and still fucking riot and still do all this shit. Those are people who are brave, not these fucking fucking tiny cock guys strutting around with their fucking assault rifles because." These are all these, and most of these guys are the ones who never show up to the draft or never show up to fight in a war. It's just they're all just toy soldiers.
I guess.
It's okay. Let's stop. I get frustrated.
Yeah, we should probably move away from this because we declared our independence with guns. So it's like, yeah, there are always going to be people who keep guns for the constitutional.
Yeah, but India declared its independence with peaceful protesting.
Wouldn't it be nice if we were all like that?
And so it's like it's possible. There isn't one way to achieve peace. So, all right, and also freedom. And freedom, freedom at gunpoint isn't freedom. That's just as soon as somebody with a bigger gun comes along. But when you can learn to stand up without a gun, and you're brave enough to do that, that's freedom. So, all right, end of that episode.